And the big six are stuff that probably our grandmother told us that are important for life. The B is for breath. We want to stay in a state of parasympathetic balance or tone. You got to initiate nostril breathing. The hallmarks of meditation, yoga, mindfulness, contemplative prayer. Stay in your nose, rule number 1. Number 2, the I is for a double I, ingest serious hydration. In the morning, wake up and detox from the night's metabolic work and flush your system with 15 to 20 ounces of water. Put some sea salt in it if you're not concerned about hypertension. There's other agents I would talk about putting in them, but you got to have a big urination early in the morning. The other I for big is ingest real food, the kind of food your grandmother would recommend, stuff that doesn't have labels, and then we can launch from that about timing of the food, maybe some fasting. And remember that, ultimately, insulin growth factor and insulin are at the top of the cascade of all those proliferating targets that current chemotherapies and targeted therapies and immunotherapies drive. So if we can just turn down the dial on insulin growth factor and insulin, we're going to slow down and kind of quiet this cancer. So we talked about food and ingest. The G was for get moving. A body in motion stays in motion. And I always get the saying is like, if you're not getting stronger every day, you're getting weaker. That kind of slaps people a little bit. Like, I don't want to get weaker. And I give them some sort of strategy, very simple, to get moving. And it kind of works nicely with eating more of a protein meal, and it works nicely. I handed out stretchy bands all the time. The S of the big six is for sleep. I said, sleep is king. There's a reason why we dedicated a third of our lives as we evolved to sleep, because, it didn't help us find food. It didn't help us avoid dangerous predators looking to eat us. And it didn't help us reproduce. But we gave a third of our time to sleep. That's because we heal in our sleep. And you need to heal most during the post-treatment period, and during that period, it helps restore the brain. The I, the second I in 6 is for intentions. So many people say, yeah, I want to get cured. I want to fight this. And I said, well, you want to fight it, but remember, you want to be the Zen warrior. You want to be in the fight, but above the fight. But let's review why you want to fight this. Why do you want to fix this cancer? Or say, well, because I don't want to die from it. And, I just want to live. I said, well, peel back that onion. Why do you not want to die? And, ultimately, we would get to the core of that, their important why. And that helps them sort of re-identify with their purpose and their mission. And once they can kind of really grip that, I say, all right, we need to set an intention. You can't be casual about this. A simple way to do that is, let's say, make a mental movie of you doing things you love with people you love in the future, for a cause bigger than yourself, addressing that purpose. And go to that movie as you drift off to sleep and you have a window into that subconscious and pull it down into your heart space, into your belly, and really bake and marinate into it to the point where it's almost anchored. For instance, it's like you're prepping for a play and you're a character in your play and you're getting into character. And that person is you in the future doing things you love with people you love, once again, for a purpose bigger than yourself. So make your own movie. And that's the second I in the big six. And then the final one, which, this is so important to talk about and so underutilized in our current system. A brilliant gal, Kelly Turner, wrote the book Radical Remission. And she studied over 100 people that somehow navigated the gauntlet to overcome terrible diagnoses, devastating diagnoses, and many of them were cancer. And she found 9 characteristics that were in common with these over 100 patients. And 5 of the 9 are in the zone of spiritual, intentional, emotional. So that's an area we don't pull out of the toolbox too often in our care of our cancer patients. So the final, the X in the big six, is extreme love. This sounds a little woo-woo, but we all know what that is. I encourage people to, and I phrase it like this, look for those yellow cars. If you bought a yellow car, you would start seeing yellow cars everywhere. They say pregnant women, when they get pregnant, they start seeing pregnant women everywhere. In the same way, if you look for kindness and generosity and beauty and love in our fellow human beings, my goodness, you start seeing it. Especially if you take the blinders off and look for negativity, quit looking for negativity. You start seeing kindness and beauty. And if when you see it, you reflect it and you echo it and you get it revved up. And then when you really see it and feel it, take the step of grabbing it in your mind's eye and pull it in for once again, for your own health and wellness and healing, for a cause bigger than yourself. You want to link it to your healing. That's the step that we don't do. And if you do that, you have resources everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, you pull into this wonderful resource. Those good feelings are not chemical reactions. Those are vibrations. These are molecular vibrations, the whole new science of quantum physics. And those vibrations, especially those good vibrations, change how proteins and DNA fold. So don't underestimate the importance of that resource along with the other things. That's the big six. And that's what I always would relate to patients and still do in our virtual consults with Care Oncology.